Good morning from Leapgate Viaduct. It's a frosty morning, but the temperature's above freezing now. This is where I was last night, filming the Northern Lights, which were up there. There was just a red tinge across the sky, and you could see it with the naked eye when I set off. They were quite intense, but by the time I got to here to hopefully get the same shot, they weren't so bright. So I did a 2-hour time lapse looking over the town towards Shaver's End, which is over there. See the puddle here. It's not strong enough for ice or anything like that. Not very strong ice, I mean. I can see Wilden Church this morning. Oh, it's a nice day. The shadow of the viaduct there. So yeah, I had the alarm with the Aurora Watch UK app on my phone. It gives you an Aurora alarm. So I came out here about 6:30 to 9 o'clock last night. So you can see the extent of the Leapgate Viaduct that I'm on. Beautiful sunny day, frosty, low sun, and that's looking south over towards Hartlebury Common. We'll drop down and come in a bit. And look at the viaduct close up. You wouldn't think to look at it that the River Stour, which you can see here, used to be navigable with the Seven Trow sailing ship, because to look at it now, it looks very overgrown. You can see that log there moving about. Up the valley we're looking now towards the old Wilden Steel Works, which were directly in front. They'd be over there. That's looking over towards Kidderminster. It's a place full of old industry. We're looking at the viaduct, you can see where it's been pointed. And then you've got the wider bit for the River Stour there. We'll see if we can go under it. again, you can see the geology is pure sandstone, so as we get closer,
battery level is low.
oh bloody hell.
Aircraft will return to the home point in 10 seconds.
And how it's unbelievable that it used to be navigable. As if you look at the log across the river there, and then how narrow it is. I'll pan up a second and look at the brickwork. Look at that. Head out into the light. Very gingerly. And that's looking over, that's the new Timber Lane estate, and then there's a view down to over towards Aberley Hill. You can see the old course of the old railway. Looking north towards Kidderminster. The frost's clearing quite quickly. Then this is Wilden. And the railway cutting heading off. And back to Timber Lane. I myself am heading off up to Kidderminster to look at Pratt's Wharf. That's a bit of interest in history. They're connected with the River Stour, and I'll explain why when I get there. So I'm down where the siding butts are that I filmed earlier on. I'll show you the other side, where there used to be a wharf for to do with the railway sidings. This is Mitten Railway Bridge. You can see the boats would moor at the bottom of that wall, and then all the goods would be hoisted off the hill, up the slope. This, I'll just turn the bike around. That's it. Take off your mask. It's control. You can see this rope windy thing here. That used to be under the bridge. I don't know why they moved it, and then that's up to the railway up there. There is a mooring in there, just there. Very difficult to spot. Moving about. I'm on the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal now. Riding up towards Kidderminster Canal. The river Stour's over there through the trees. Can't complain about the weather today. You can certainly smell the canal down here. I'm by Pratt's Wharf. It's also known as Pratt's Wharf, but I think that was due to a mistake on the OS map. But anyway, this is there's a Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal, Kidderminster, Starport, and a winding hole there. Here there used to be a lock, and you can see some of the masonry through the undergrowth, but it is very overgrown. And the lock took you down a small cutting down to the River Stour. And the reason for that existence was because the Baldwin Seal factory was down there. It's a gorgeous morning, very clear. It was very clear last night when I was doing the time lapse. I did every 30 seconds a 13-second exposure for 122 minutes. Anyway, you can see the remains of the old lock here. I'm stood right on the very edge. And actually, I shall give it a go getting in. There's the bridge. And then we'll walk down the lock. Let me just get out again. Ow! We're on the side. Now, there's the cutting in for where the gates used to be. You can see from there to there. That's where the gates would have been. And then it comes out down to the River Stour, and I'll see if I can find some photographs, but I doubt any exist. But anyway, the River Stour now. So it was basically a lock and a tiny cutting. You can see it's not been used for many years the way this willow tree's grown up and fallen into the river there. That must have been a victim of the recent storm. But the River Stour would have been navigable down to its confluence with the Severn, and it was probably navigable all the way up to Kidderminster. There is the ridge, Wilden Top, that goes down to the viaduct, which you probably can't see from here. and then back you can't see the bridge properly even. Oh, you can, there it is. But it's extremely overgrown. And this just used to be a way to get to Baldwin Steelworks from the canal, just to make life easier for the factory. And my great grandfather actually used to work there during the war. But we'll come back up the lock. Long disused, many years. Probably the 50s when it was last in action. But an interesting lost piece of history. You probably wouldn't know what it was from that end to look at it, but Pratt's Wharf, lock and junction with the River Stour, and this is all that's left. So you can barely see it now, but here where these two benches are, there were some houses and sheds and things. It was quite a well industrialised, busy place. Walk all over me written on the bridge. A bit of a flat clearing here where they would have been. And then down there, in my youth I have walked along that up to the other end. Here you can see the extent of the winding hole here and the width of the canal. It would have been up to probably about 10 feet further back than where the reeds are now, just to allow the boats to come in and out. And then the lock down and the river down there. We'll just have a pan around, because my original intention was to fly the drone under the bridge, down the lock, down the cutting, and then down to the Stour, but because it's all in walking distance and too overgrown, there's not much point. So we'll have a look at the bridge from here and see what's actually written on the yes, it's Pratt's Wharf. You can see it plain as day there. Pratt's Wharf, number 10A bridge. And the bridges are numbered all the way up to Great Haywood Junction, which is with the Shropshire Union Canal. You can see on the actual bridge how different it looks with the cutting. You can see the cutting from the top of the bridge, which is quite interesting. It's got a nice curve to it as well, actually. It's very nice engineering, quite graceful. And you can see the edge of the lock. Go over a bit more. And go up a bit. And look down the River Stour. And you can see over towards Wilden Top. Pan around. The Leapgate viaducts may or may not be visible, I'm not sure. But you can see the Malverns. Looking for Leapgate, but a bit far away. You can see the Malverns and a view of Shaver's End as well. Very nice. We're at Falling Sands Lock. You can see we're still by the River Stour. Here's the lock. That's where the cottage used to be. I do mention that in another video, so I shan't go on about it, but there was a cottage there into the second half of the 20th century. But we'll be heading up now to the Severn Valley Railway Viaduct, which is only just round the bend. That's a preserved steam railway that runs from Kidderminster to Bridge North, which was a victim of the Beeching Axe, as was the branch that I was stood on, the Leapgate line, which serviced Starport, Hartlebury, Starport, Kidderminster, and the Severn Valley Railway was the branch between Kidderminster and Shrewsbury, and it passed through Ironbridge, but that railway's gone now, and there's a preserved section Kidderminster to Bridge North. Oh shit. Fuck. There is my first crash, and I have to say I've been rather lucky, but how the fuck am I going to get it from down there? So glad it didn't go in the water. Right, we're down here. Trying to get round there. I don't know if it'll be possible. Look at that, look. Honda side panels. If I can't get around here, then I shall have to take my trousers off. Bugger. We're going to try anyway. I'll leave the bike there and the rucksack. Oh dear. This has not gone well. Made it. You can see it's about, the canal's about 3, maybe 4 foot deep, so I would have got wet and cold. But I've ended up at the drone, so I'm going to, I don't think I can get up there. It's just above head height. We're all back together. I've come out of the wilderness. And underneath the viaduct. I've never been here before. I'm very lucky actually that it's winter and they've cut a lot of it back. I can see bits of blue Honda around. There was an indicator over there, so I'd imagine somebody's had his bike pinched and it's been brought down here and died a terrible death. So there's the rest of the drone in there, and there's the bike. I'll have a look round here while we're here. So this is the viaduct. You can see the old bits of masonry. I suppose bits have fallen off and been dumped because they did a massive refurbishment of it a few years back. You can see the old nice blue end stones. Some mattress there. That blue masonry is, yeah, it's very nice, that. Bits of concrete. No, I was so lucky then that didn't go in the canal. Gosh. Oh, I dread to think. The bloke in the van that was in the other bit of film, he also came past while I was actually next to the drone down there. Didn't notice me. So I was lucky really. A couple of people come past on foot and on bikes, but they didn't see me. Bit of a drip there, the overflow. Anyway. Yeah, so you'll see now the shot I wanted to get. So you see me setting up the angle there. What I'd originally planned to do was to fly under the small bridge and then under the viaduct, but some fishermen turned up, so I ended up just going under the small bridge. As gingerly and as adrenaline fueled as I think I've ever flown it. I'm just lining up the shot. Beautiful reflections. A lovely day. So this is the Severn Valley Railway viaduct, which is a preserved railway. I'm coming in a bit quick there and a bit high. So through we go. It lost signal, which is why it crashed the first time. We'll pan up to look at the Severn Valley Railway viaduct, which is being restored. over lockdown. And then behind that, there's the view of Kidderminster. And it's the Severn Valley Railway is a 16-mile preserved standard gauge heritage railway in Shropshire and Worcestershire. That's looking over towards Bewdley, and that's the site of the former sugar beet factory. That bridge was built just under 10 years ago to service access to the estate and the other side of the town. It's panning over towards Kidderminster Station on the Severn Valley Railway. Looking over towards the self-storage depot. I think that's Kinveredge as well on the horizon. You can see all the new mortar on the viaduct. They spent quite a long time doing it. I'm doing this voiceover after the fact as well because I didn't dare try and do it whilst I was recording, just in case I lost the whole thing again. See, double track railway line. Another housing estate on the site of the old Rylock chain works. The old sugar beet estate again in the sunshine, looking back the way I came back towards Starport there, and you can see the Wilderness Escarpment. I'm bringing it back down now, back under the bridge, possibly. There's the site of it. So this is Falling Sands number 11 bridge. It's a very low bridge actually, it's one of the lowest on the canal. Going back up, you can see the River Stour there. And again the graceful brickwork bridge, panning up. And showing the viaduct almost in its entirety. You can see far over Kidderminster now, over to Kinveredge on the horizon, and then on the right is the beginning of the Clent Hills. View of Falling Sands viaduct, and we'll pan away from it in a minute. That was built 1875 to 1878, and there is an interesting old photograph showing the sidings for the old sugar beet factory as well. I can't find the date of that. Just come into view now on the horizon is the other Kidderminster viaduct, known as the Hoobrook Railway Viaduct. 20-arch viaduct, 1,110 feet, with a height of 75 feet. 1884 to 1885, carries the Kidderminster to Worcester main line. Panning back around, there's an anti-flood, what looks like an anti-flooding field in the centre shot, but that's one of the sidings of that old photograph which I just showed. And you can see that there's some engines on the line, can't tell what they are. That Hoobrook Railway Viaduct was originally a wooden structure on stone columns, built in brick. Back down to Falling Sands. And I bring the drone back down now. And that was the last time I took it up today. I thought I shan't push my luck any further. So we're leaving the viaduct now. The drone is safely stowed away. That was a bit nerve-wracking flying it under here the second time. I wasn't pushing my luck flying it under the viaduct, so I flew it up above, and there was some fishermen and other people down there as well. So you can see the bottom, you can see the white bits, but that would have been exceptionally unpleasant if I had to go in there. I'm glad I could get around. Off to Kidderminster now and actually get me shopping. Gorgeous day still. It's warmed up quite a bit after all that climbing and scrambling and nerve-wracking flight. Alright, so we're at Coldwall Lock and we'll have a look at the cave. It's more of a cut-in really. I'm not sure what it would have been used for. I would imagine that it would have been something to do with storage of building materials for the canal, or if it's just been cut away for rock, or if it's just erosion. It's not really anything. There's nothing really in there, that's as far as it goes, but there you go, Coldwall Cave. But it is cut quite far back in, so I'd imagine it would have been a small quarry. This is the lock gate. You can see the gap in the middle would have been the rope between barge and horse to allow it to get through. And that's a very solid lock gate actually, considering what some of the others are like. Not letting much water through at all. You can see the erosion here. That's a bit tight to get down. This isn't original, this handrail on here. There was originally nothing there. But then there was this child who cycled across. I think it might have been this bridge, or it might have been the one at Falling Sands, and he decided to ride his bike across it, fell in and drowned, so they put these handrails on. There's a crack there that they're monitoring. We're still right next door to the River Stour, and the overflow here maintains the flow of water in the canal. And we're basically in Kidderminster now. This is it. We're on the tarmac towpath bit, and it's running very clear today, the canal. Normally not this clear. Very few boats, you see, chucking up all the sediment from the bottom, so it's all had a chance to settle over the winter. All that's part of the building to do with Kidderminster College, and it's all been smashed. It wasn't like that in May when I was last here. It was smashed, but not as bad as that. They've put a camera up. There's a camera over there. And looking over to another old industry thing over there. Another winding hole here. These are the 3 bridges. All old carpet mills and things. You can see the chimney to one there. You can see where that chimney is where the canal is. I'm off to Morrison's to look for the Cycling Weekly. Tesco doesn't have it, and Sainsbury's doesn't have it, and they've cut back on their magazine stocking, so hopefully Morrison's remains unchanged. I've got to work out how to get there. That there is the man who invented stamps. And I'm ashamed to say I can't remember his name. I've lost the way to Morrison, so we're off up to Smith's. If it's still there, I can't remember. There's a pigeon in that. Old shopping centre look. I've joined up with what's like a bit of a peloton. I'm waiting for the overtake point, which is probably up here, so I'll make good use of it. I went to Sainsbury's, then Tesco, then WH Smith's, and then Morrison's, and they've all got, well, none of them had the correct issue of the Cycling Weekly, and some of them had the Cycling Weekly from the 19th of December, which was 2 weeks ago. New issue's supposed to be out today, but no joy. So I'm heading back into Starport now. Back up at Pratt's Wharf on the way back. That group stopped under the viaduct, so they're coming or not. It's a bit annoying that you can't go to 2 towns, both more than 20,000 people, and there's nothing there. No joy for your magazine. But there you are. Just come up along here. There's a new building going up. I've not seen that one before. It's a dual carriageway between Kidderminster and Starport. I thought this Firs Industrial Estate down there's a bridge over the canal, and I thought I'd come up further up there to look more at that, but I'm at the top of the dual carriageway instead. So I've got to be careful going over the cemetery junction and the tip junction. I had a postman say hello to me in the van. He was coming up to the junction at the same time. It was a bit, so he had to give way, and well, he's supposed to give way anyway, but he said hello, and I don't know who it was, but... So, yeah. We'll head off down there. Bit of a disappointing not being able to get my magazine, but good fun flying the drone and retrieving that. That's something to remember. So I'll plot off. That's the council offices there for Wyre Forest District Council. Right. So I shall say thank you very much for watching, and until next time, cheerio.